Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Akamplida Brian, a medical student at Gulu University. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to use Microsoft PowerPoint and how to create a good presentation. So we open Microsoft PowerPoint and this is how it's going to appear like when you've just opened a Microsoft PowerPoint. We are going to select blank presentation because we are creating this one from de novo. So ideally we should create our first slide, which will have the title of the slide we are going to talk about. But before we do that, let me introduce you briefly to what these tabs are on this show us. So this is the home button. This is where we insert our slides from. This is where we edit our formats from. This is where we can create or insert objects from. And then we have the insert button where we can insert tables, pictures, screenshots, albums, images, and also where we can put word art and stuff like that. That's where it is done from. So design is where we choose the theme of in which we want our slides to appear like, and this is where it's done ideally briefly. So given that we are already here, I think we can choose a theme. I think so. Let's choose a theme for that. So given that we are already here, then transition, basically this is how you transit from one slide to the next, and this is what is done under here. So animation, basically this will affect the content of the slide and how it appears, and that's what it does really. So we'll show you more maybe when we are towards finishing. Then slideshow, let's say you're presenting, this helps you, or this decides how you present your slides to a congregation or a number of people. So then review is to check or show your work and see how far or how well it has gone, or if you're doing something and you have a supervisor, this is where they can add their comments, show their comments. That's how you can reply to them. And then when you're done, this is where you can remove your comments from, and you can also check your spelling errors from this space. So view basically also is for how you want your slides to be seen, and you can also do some little bit of editing around in this phase, but it's not much really. So let's go back home and we create our slide. And given that this is our slide, we'll be doing PowerPoints. We would not expect a lot of texts in the PowerPoints because they are PowerPoints. You're putting on something that will highlight something in your mind for you to talk about it. So today's topic, we're going to talk about diarrhea. So that's how it's going. That's what it's going to be. Diarrhea is missing. Here we are from Britain. So you already see this one is appearing in green, but we'll edit that, don't mind. So I will have to create my title such that I have to be eligible of the thing I'm going to talk about, or something like that anyway. So my name, I will put my name and my credentials. Akamplida Brian. I'm in MBCHB1. Yes, those are my credentials now, but so I'll need these things centered, so I'll first work upon that. I need them centered really. I may not mind the color and everything, but I need them centered, at least before we go into any other slide. Let me first work upon this. So I need them centered. I've worked upon that, so I'll come here and I'll have to insert a new slide. And there are a range of slides that you can choose from depending on the content that you have or how you want your content to appear. So if you want to put your two-way content, this is all here and here, like to the right and to the left. Or if you want to compare, you also have a template for that. If you have a title slide only, it's also there. We have a section header as well, it's there. So there are many, but you choose what you really want and how you want it to appear. So for my content, I will choose title and content, and that's how my slide will appear. And so for this instance, after introducing myself, I will have to go to what I will call objectives of this presentation, and okay, what we want to achieve in this presentation. So amongst one of the things that we want to achieve, I will say maybe we want to know the definition, so we'll define the area. The other thing that we want to achieve is to know the causes of the area. The causes of diarrhea. Then the other thing we want to know is the treatment, or no, actually before the treatment we want to know the classification. This isn't very accurate as it is, but it's for presentation purposes so that you know how slides are created. So classification, definitely of diarrhea. Then we'll go to treatment, and then we'll go to prevention. Lastly, I hope prevention, and then I think our last slide will involve conclusions. Yeah, I think that's it. So these will be my objectives of the presentation. So as I have said before, this is a PowerPoint, and these are the things that I will not have to elaborate treatment of diarrhea, classification of diarrhea, because the entire topic is about diarrhea. Actually, even here, you should be able to remove this and say only just causes, but for now, let's add another slide, and we're going to add another slide, the same slide of content. So after objectives, we had the definition, and so this will be the definition, and the definition will be added in. So let's first number our slides quickly, in that we put everything that was. So the next slide was on the causes of diarrhea. Okay, the next slide was classification of diarrhea. It will definitely be classification of diarrhea. As I've said, these are PowerPoints. You do not have to put a lot of text into it, because if you put a lot of text into it, then the reader will, the people you're presenting to will have to read your slides, and that takes the attention away from you, the presenter. So that will be the treatment slide. Then the next slide will be prevention, and then our last slide was conclusions, I think. Yeah, conclusion slide. And I think that's it. So right now we have all the slides that we want, and now we can go in and enter in a few of the things. So we can first view them from top. We want to talk about diarrhea, the definition, the causes, the classification, the treatment, the prevention, and have conclusions like that. So allow me to insert these things inside here briefly, so that we save time. Diarrhea, I'll call it the passage. Let it be in okay, passage of 3 or more loose stools per day, and that will be the definition, or I can say all passage or frequent stools different from your usual stool. passage of frequent stools that are different from your normal stools that you usually see. So then we'll go to the next slide and we say some of the causes of malaria. We'll maybe put malabsorption syndromes. So we'll do this, malabsorption syndromes. These are PowerPoints, so I will not have to elaborate a lot of it. So I will say infections and I'll put them together. And then I will also say, talk about, something like food poisoning. So this is a toxin actually. And then I will talk about inflammatory bowel diseases. And some of the causes. So then I'll go to the other slide of classification. I will say maybe it's watery diarrhea. No, but actually we should classify it by days. So I will say acute diarrhea, and then I will say chronic diarrhea, so I'm saying it autocorrecting, but that's okay, it's British and American English all together. So the treatment, I would say, well, home interventions, no, let me say maybe drugs. So drugs, I'll say maybe EGI. So drugs, and I'll maybe make a subset, and I'll say zinc, I will say, and spasmodics. And then I will say antibiotics for infectious diarrhea. So I will elaborate, so I do not have to, I'll be explaining that as I am presenting to the people, so I do not have to go any further. Then I will talk about rehydration. The goal of treatment of diarrhea is to keep the person with a normal hydrated status. So I will say rehydration. This may be with, let's say, EG, ORS. Oh dear. So we may use here ORS. We may use IV fluids, depending on the severity. I think basically that's it, and then more fluids at home actually. Before we go to IV fluids, you can say fluids at home actually. Then the other kind of management would be nutritional. The other kind of treatment would be nutritional support, where we'll maybe give them rice, soup, especially for children. And I think among the treatments that would be fine for this slide. So the prevention of diarrhea, and amongst the most causes of diarrhea is, so we'll have to say proper food handling. Okay, then we'll say washing hands, because usually if it's effective, it's from the feces to the mouth, so washing of hands would be a very good intervention. And then we'll say proper disposal of wastes, of human wastes, in cases of infections like dysentery, diarrhea, all those things, you know how they come about. Then one other thing is, I think, okay, well, we can take that for now, and then in the conclusions we'll say maybe diarrhea is not a final diagnosis. Find the cause. Yeah, so and then at another point I will welcome additions and questions. And then finally I'll thank the crowd or the people I'm presenting to. I'll thank them for listening. We don't take that for granted, okay? So we'll thank them for listening in. And that's for it. So we have done our slides here, but you will notice that we have not done any editing in these slides. We've just been putting in text, and we can now do a little bit of editing. And when we do a little bit of editing, we hope we do it very, very fast so that it doesn't take up a lot of time. And we'll say, okay, now we can view our slides and how they appear. You see how blunt they are. They are so, I'll say exposed. That's what I will call it. They are very, very much exposed. They are very, very much exposed. So we'll have to put in something so that people can understand what we are talking about anyway today. So we'll insert in a few images. We'll insert in a few images here and there so that people understand what we are talking about. So as I said earlier, we go to insert and we'll say maybe insert pictures. Then it will take us to desktop. So if you have pre-downloaded images, you know where to find them. So I'll go into this folder. I will select this image and I will say insert. And here it is. So I will adjust the size. I can increase, I can decrease. But for this instance, allow me to first increase it and see how well. I think it would be proper that this image is this big, because people will immediately understand what I'm talking about when I say we are going to talk about diarrhea. Allow me to insert another one. I will insert this one, pictures. I go to desktop and then they will say, okay, here is our folder. So let me select another one. Dear. Let me look for a suitable one. Oh, here we have a suitable image. So I will edit this one. I will edit it in this way such that people can understand what we are talking about, and you can always edit or you edit the style you want the image to appear in. You can always choose it the way you want it to appear like. You can crop, you can do all those things, but for the interest of time, let me just reduce the size, because yes, people will see that you're running to the toilet, and when you have diarrhea, it's always painful. So the other thing I would want to change is I think I want to change the size. My font is, maybe I will change it to, let me put Times New Roman. I will increase to maybe 60. me see how 60 looks. It's still small. Perhaps we can try 72. Looks much better. We do not want the images to overshadow our presentation, so I can even increase it further. We can keep it at 80. Then the presenter also has been overshadowed too much. I can increase the font size up to roughly 40 something. Let me see. I can increase it to 36 and I see, but which means we'll have to reduce on the image size a little bit. It's shouting too much. Yeah, perhaps we can do that. Okay, I think that's much better. Let me increase this once again. I'm trying to make this as appropriate as possible, but allow me to change the presenter's part, and I change it to Times New Roman as well. And I see, but it's still proportional. Oh dear. Let me just reduce the font size, and I will put it back at maybe 24. Well, this is much more appropriate, so I can insert other images in this, or I can put in other images in the next slide. So I will try to look for something that is related. So objectives, I will select insert, I will go to pictures, and then I will look at something that may depict, this image now depicts that we are talking about objectives, the objectives of what we are going to talk about today. So we can try to fix it here actually, even though it shadows but it makes sense ideally. I can try to move it a little bit closer, not overshadow my designs. I don't know how it looks like right now, but I think it was better the other way. Can leave it here, and then we can go to the next slide and we try to insert an image there, the definition. So something, maybe this is being done by a doctor, so I would want to insert an image of a doctor trying to tell people this is the definition, or this is what diarrhea is like. So I can look through my images. I may insert this one, and let me insert it quickly. We can reduce the size. Reduce the size a little bit, and we first move it to this side, and we see. We try to approximate it, then we can even edit the style. Maybe we can try to make it a little bit circular, and we see, because this is the doctor defining what diarrhea is for us, and that looks better. So causes of diarrhea, or we can insert another image in here that maybe looks a little bit different, but about some of maybe the visible causes of diarrhea or something. Actually, we have food poisoning there, so eating properly uncooked meals is one of them. So we can insert pieces of meat that do not look to be properly cooked. We can try to, food poisoning, they can give that to you. So we can move on. And we look for another image that would depict something that would bring out the message even when we do not say. something about it. So it's like picture interpretation of sorts. Or actually we could have given in this image and we remove the other because it's still also trying to tell people causes of diarrhea. So I can actually delete this one because this one says a message. I can cut this out, can get this and try to edit it to my size I really want. Can try to bring it in here and approximate it to be nearer to my text as well. And I think it doesn't overshadow my text, given that I will increase the font and everything. That one looks okay as well. So classification of diarrhea, I will go to insert as well, and I will put in maybe the different types of diarrhea. I can select maybe, looks nasty, but you'll have to bear with me. Maybe I'll put that. Wow, guys, this is really offensive. Is it acute? Is it chronic? I think that does it. Oh, this is better. And then the treatment, so I'll look something that tells people that we are now talking about treatment, perhaps some drugs, perhaps some IVs. And actually, this is something, this I would insert this one, zinc. I will first reduce it and look for the other image. Okay, zinc, yes, that part of the drugs that would help to treat. I will go to insert once again and look for, I will want to insert ORS as well. I had seen it somewhere. ORS, I think it is here. We can insert it in our presentation as well as one of the drugs. Well, I like it that my things are in block square, but worry not. I think they are fitting in just fine. They are fitting in just fine, and I do not feel my slides are overcrowded. I hope it does not shadow them, but I will try. So I'll make that to be the zinc part. This is the ORS, and I'll try to approximate in that they have the same size. I think they do. And then we'll go to prevention. I will preferably need to insert something about hand washing. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think washing hands, I have it somewhere here. I'll insert it and I will edit it briefly. I can first change the style perhaps to something that is framed, which is good. Let me see style. I think that looks okay. Having framed it, we can reduce the size a little bit. Yeah, hand washing. At least if people forget anything else, they will not forget that. You can put it somewhere there. Washing hands as a means of preventing diarrhea with soap as well. For our last slide where we are talking about conclusions, I will let me see an appropriate image for that. I don't know. Did we talk about the prevention, guys? Let me first check a little bit. Did we talk about prevention, breastfeeding, everything? Diarrhea is not find the cause, so this will go to the doctor again, I think. So this will go to the doctor now again. So allow me to edit it once again. I think I can do this since this is the final part. I can do what I want to it. People do not have to be very much focused, given that our presentation will have ended. Can make it as big as I want. So I can go back and review here, and washing doesn't look very right, but for the interest of time, causes of diarrhea, definition of diarrhea. Okay, well, for the interest of time, but you can see how our slides look, and you can appreciate, though we can do much better. Yeah, we can do much better, I agree with you. We can try to reduce some of the sizes of these images because some of them are overshouting. Yeah, I think that's much better. I wanted to change somewhere around the causes. The causes part, well, this isn't as bad, but I think we can do better as well. We can remove that. We can insert this one for causes. I think this one can tell, hey, you know, it tells people what you're not telling them at times, and even reminds you when you're in the presentation. So I think here we did much better. Let's edit here. Let this be our last part. We can actually increase the size here so that hand washing does it well. This is pretty looky, but it brings out the message, it puts the message across, and that's the point of using slides, to bring out messages. So we have made our slides properly. I think you can give me a like if you've loved the way we've done these slides. And for that, we've made our slides, and this brings the end of our presentation here. And maybe we may want to change a few things, but I will show you the editing part in our next video, where we'll discuss the slide master and what I will want to do with it in the next video. So the transitions, everything, I will discuss it then. I think we can try to do some animation, but not really. So bear with me, and let me thank you for viewing this video as we've been working on how we can make slides. Thank you. Let's save our file. I will save it as diarrhea, maybe by Brian A. MBCHB1, MBCHB1. I can edit and make it a little bit better, perhaps. Oh dear. Let me just leave it like that. Diarrhea 2 maybe, or diarrhea 1. And I will say save, and our document has been saved. So thank you for viewing this video. Please follow so that you do not miss the next video, where we shall discuss how to use a master slide to effect changes in your